Hello everyone, I am Tyagi and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to explain the chapter Lost Spring. Lost Spring, Stories of a Stolen Childhood. This chapter is written by Anis Jung. This chapter has two stories. The first story, Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. This story relates to Sahib. Sahib, who is a rag picker. And the second story, I want to drive a car. This story relates to Mukesh. Mukesh, who belongs to a bangle making family. Before starting the chapter and the explanation, let's know something about Anis Jung, the author. Anis Jung, she was the famous short story writer. She was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. She began her career in India and has been an editor in abroad. She authored many books. This excerpt that is taken from the book Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. So this is all about the author. Let's see the flowchart of the chapter. So this is the flowchart of the chapter and the main characters of the chapter. First of all, Sahib. The full name of Sahib is Sahib-e-Alam and the meaning of Sahib-e-Alam is Lord of the Universe. There is an irony in this chapter with the name of Sahib. As per the meaning of his name, he is the Lord of the Universe, but he is a rag picker. So this is the irony in this chapter. After that, he is a rag picker and he lives in Simapuri. And he and his family came from Dhaka, that is in Bangladesh. Because there were frequent floods and storms, that's why their fields were swept away. So they came to Simapuri in search of their livelihood. Next, it is Anis Jung. Anis Jung, who is the author of the chapter or the narrator of the chapter. She asked irrelevant questions to Sahib, just like, why do you do this? Why don't you go to school? And why are you not wearing the chappals? These are the irrelevant questions because as a rag picker, they were not able to go to a school. We will discuss about it later in detail. Next, other rag pickers. Other rag pickers like Sahib, they also walked barefoot. And when it is told to them why they were moving barefoot, then they replied that it is their tradition to walk barefoot. It is not the reason, there is no any reason of poverty. The two young tennis players, they play tennis and they gave their discarded shoes and dress to Sahib to wear. Sahib's mother told Sahib about his migration, why they came to Simapuri from Bangladesh. Honor of the tea stall. At the end of the chapter, we find that Sahib started the work at tea stall. So the tea owner paid him 800 rupees and 3 times meal. So this is all about the flowchart of the chapter. The chapter starts with the conversation between Sahib and the author Anis Jung. Anis Jung met Sahib when he was searching something valuable in the garbage. Anis Jung asked a question to him, why do you do this? He replied that he didn't have any other work to do. That's why he was doing the rag picking. Anis Jung suggested him to go to school, but he replied that there is no any school in his area. Then Anis Jung made a promise, if she starts, will he come? Sahib replied, yes. And a few days later, Sahib asked Anis Jung whether her school was ready. Listening it, Anis Jung felt embarrassed because she made the false promise to Sahib. And she explained in the chapter that their bleak world, that the bleak means dark world. Their dark world, it is filled with such false promises. After months knowing, she was able to know his name and his companion's name. And what is the name of the boy? The name of the boy is Sahib. The full name of Sahib is Sahib-e-Alam, and the meaning of the name is Lord of the Universe. Sahib didn't know the meaning of his name. If he knew, he would not be able to believe on his name because he is a rag picker. How can a rag picker be the Lord of the Universe? Author asked the boys, why are they not wearing their chappals? One boy replied, his mother didn't bring them down from the shelf. He gave the reason. Other said that if she did so, they would not wear, as it was their custom to walk barefoot. The third boy said, I want shoes. When it is asked to them why they are not wearing their chappals, they replied, it is not the lack of money, but it is their tradition to walk barefoot. The author wondered if this is the only excuse to explain their perpetual state of poverty. And perpetual means never ending. Perpetual means never ending. After that, Anis Jung reminded the story of a young boy from Udipi. He always prayed to the goddess for shoes. His prayer granted for the boy of the new priest. When the author went there after 30 years, she noticed it. Anis Jung went to Sahib's house in Simapuri. About 10,000 rag pickers were living in this area. And all the rag pickers, they came from Dhaka in 1971 and started to live there in Simapuri. They lived in mud structures with roofs of tin and tarpaulin. Rag picking is their sole means of earning of livelihood. Meaning of garbage. There are two meanings of garbage. Meaning of garbage for the children, there's something wrapped in wonder, and for the elders, means of survival. One winter evening, Anis Jung found Sahib standing by the fence gate of a tennis club. He liked to play tennis, but it was not in his reach. It was out of his reach. But he was contented to watch the two young tennis players who were playing tennis. He wore shoes and explained the author by hiding one of the shoes that someone gave him, as there was a hole in one of the shoes. But for one who walked barefoot throughout the life, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. So it means a lot for Sahib, though he had a hole in his shoes, but by getting this pair of shoes, his dream come true. After that, this morning Sahib was on his way to the milk booth. In his hand is a steel canister. Now he worked in a tea stall. He was paid rupees 800 and all his meals. His face lost his carefree look. He was not seemed happy working at the tea stall, as he was no longer his own master, because the steel canister seemed heavier than the plastic bag, as the bag was his own and the steel canister belongs to the owner of the tea stall. And now he had to follow the instructions of the tea stall, and he had to do the work as per the order of the tea stall. So this is all about the chapter. Thank you very much for listening me.